In mid-July, Stephen Covey, the world-famous, most incredible author, passed away. And in this video, I'd like to remember him by sharing my top 5 biggest lessons that I've learned from his material. So welcome to Insider Internet Success. In this video episode, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about one of my earlier business heroes. One of the first books I ever read was called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was written by Stephen Covey. The book went on to sell millions and millions all around the world in many different countries in many different languages. Stephen Covey unfortunately passed away earlier in July, and he, in my opinion, has left a mark on this world in the business community and in the personal development community that is very difficult to pay back. And I've learned many things from him. First of all, one of my earlier mentors, a good friend, Shaylin, passed me this book. When I was 15 years old, I was given this book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I read that book. I read it several times. I've read it several times many years after. I've even just finished reading it again. And I read it multiple times over because in every sentence in that book, in every paragraph in that book, there is something to gain. It helps you become a better person, a better leader, a better organizer. And you know, if you do all those things, you become a better CEO of your company. So I want to just take a few minutes now to share my top 5 biggest learnings about what I've picked up from over the years with reading and understanding Stephen Covey's material. So here they are. Number 1, the first thing is that your character is critical. You know, no matter how you behave, no matter what it is that you do, for you to become a really successful entrepreneur, for you to become a successful business person, for you to become a successful family person, your character is critical. What you do, what you say about yourself, how you behave is critical. In my opinion, and from what I've understood elsewhere as well, your character is formed by the habits that you have, and the habits that you have form the character that you create for yourself. So what kind of habits do you have in your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your business? What kind of habits are you cultivating for yourself? When I first heard these messages, I sat down to seriously think about the habits that I have and the habits that I want to cultivate in my business. The things that I want to do so I could be much better at doing them and therefore have better results. And I started to shape my habits. I started to shape my character in the way that I wanted to shape it so I could be more influential, more powerful, more results-based, and more, motivational towards my clients and my students in order to help them achieve their goal. So what is it that you want to do to shape your character in the best way? Second, Stephen Covey's, one of his very critical messages is that you got to be proactive. You know, no matter what it is you do, you got to be proactive. I tell internet marketers and online business owners a lot that if you sit there waiting with your email open and waiting for the next email to ping, and as soon as it pings and you hear the sound of AOL or you hear the ping come in and you want to go and check it out, you're being reactive. You're just reacting to the message that comes up. If the phone rings and you pick it up right away and you start speaking to them, you're being reactive to the phone that rings. How else would you go ahead and forge new ventures and build new businesses and create new impacts on the world if you were just being reactive, right? So Stephen Covey talks about being proactive. And the idea that if you want to get out there and achieve something, you need to go out there and do it yourself. You need to go out there and take the first step. Don't wait to be told to take the first step. Go out there and do it. If you're writing a new blog, go out there today and set a schedule to write a new blog every 3 days. If you're going to go out there and create a new video, you know what? Make a decision that I'm going to create these videos and I'm going to do something useful with them. If you're going to create a new product, if you're going to create a new email marketing sequence, whatever it is you're going to do, if you're going to start your affiliate marketing program, be proactive. Get out there, decide to do it, and start on it right now. There's no better time than now to do it. Remember, now stands for no opportunities wait. So make sure you go out there and do that. The third lesson I picked up from Stephen Covey is to schedule your priorities. Most people, they prioritize their schedule, but I'm asking you to schedule your priorities, or at least Stephen Covey asked me from his material to schedule my priorities, because what most people do is they go around and they think about what they need to do in the day and they think about what of those things they need to do is the most important. Instead, if you want to be an effective person, if you want to be a leader of your organization, of your community, of your group, if you want to be the CEO, the driving force, the person with the passion and energy to make an impact in this world, you need to prioritize, or you need to schedule your priorities. So Stephen Covey's third biggest lesson for me is schedule your priorities. You know, most people go about their life prioritizing their schedule, But Stephen says, schedule your priorities. Now what does that mean? That means that, you know, instead of going around and thinking about what it is you've got to do in your day, in your week, in your month, and then putting that into a structure, first figure out what is most important for you to do right now. What is the thing that's most important for you to do right now that's going to, for example, in your business make you more money? Or what is the most important thing that you can do right now to get you more leads? What is the most important thing for you right now to get you more sales and to get you more conversions? Do those things. Schedule those priorities first before you go ahead and prioritize the remainder of the schedule. So things like checking email and responding and sending invoices and speaking to customers and, you know, finding new ways of delivering things. If those things aren't important right now, don't schedule them in yet first. First go ahead and figure out what the priorities are and then schedule those first. So schedule your priorities, don't prioritize your schedule. Alright, so Stephen Covey's lesson number 4 is decisions determine destinies. Decision determines destinies. Now again, this for me, when I first heard this was a very powerful concept. I've heard this in many different ways from many different philosophies over the years, but when I first came across this, it was from Stephen Covey's material, and again, it was because I read that book at a young age and it started to impact me. And that book talked about the idea that instead of you going out there and letting life happen, because a lot of people just let life happen, they go with the flow, and which is fine as well, but to an extent you've got to decide what that flow is, right? So you have the power of choice, there's no doubt about that. You have the power of choice as to what happens in any moment. How you respond in any moment is up to you. It's not up to somebody else or any controlling force or any inanimate object. How you respond is entirely up to you, right? So you have within your power the ability to decide that right now I'm going to be great. I'm going to be exceptional at what I do. I'm going to be the most amazing marketer on the planet. You have that ability to decide that. And if you decide that and you seriously believe that, you'll make it happen. So your decisions determine your destiny. If you decide that, you know what, you're going to put out a campaign and you're going to work really hard to get that campaign done, then you'll make sure that your decision becomes the destiny that you create for your business. You know, whatever it is you do for your clients, whatever it is you do for yourself, your family, your customers, whatever decision you make will become your destiny. And finally, Stephen Covey's point number 5, my biggest lesson number 5, begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. Now here's the thing, whenever you start a project, whenever you start an activity, whenever you start a course or you complete a program or you're working on a business venture or you're working on a new campaign, do you start by thinking about this is what I'm going to do and then this is what I'm going to do next and this is what I'm going to do third and not really know where it's going? Or do you start by knowing the big picture of where you want to be in 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, 60 years time, you know? Begin with the end in mind basically is all about knowing where it is you want this project to end. How do you want this picture to be painted as soon as it's completed? How do you want this musical instrument to be played and sounded when it's worked on, when it's tuned? When you begin with the end in mind, you'll know exactly where it is you want to be. So for example, if you're starting a business online from scratch, you want to be in the position to really picture and understand that in a year's time, I want to be making 6 figures a month, or I want to be making 6 figures a year, or I want to be making at least $5,000 a month, and I'm going to do that by doing these steps. I'm going to do that by actioning these points. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about how are you going to begin with the end in mind? What are you going to do? Maybe set some time aside after you've seen this video and think about your end in that specific project. And what does that end in that project look like? And then work your way backwards to creating those steps. I do this with every project that I work on. I always know at the end of it how it's going to look, it's going to feel, and how it's going to impact the audience. And that's how I start, by working my way back. Again, thanks to the late Stephen Covey. So there you have my 5 biggest lessons. Number 1, know that your character is critical. Number 2, be proactive. Number 3, schedule your priorities. Number 4, your decisions determine your destiny. And number 5, you begin with the end in mind. Those are my 5 biggest lessons. Now, I'm no doubt sure that Stephen Covey impacted many, many people that are even watching these videos that I create. So if you've read a book by Stephen Covey or you remember his key lesson that he mentioned that maybe just stuck out for you, you know, let's go ahead and celebrate him. Let's go and celebrate his material and his life. And just leave a comment below. Let me know in this blog here what you like about him, what maybe a message that he shared that's impacted you. And, you know, let's make this a little tribute to the incredible work that he did. So I'm indebted to him for allowing me to learn these lessons from him. I also am very grateful to my friend Shaylin that first gave me that book that I read at the first time. And you know, go ahead, write your comments and share this video. Let's make sure a lot of people see this material, and you know, let's be thankful for the material that he put out. So That's all for now. I look forward to seeing you in a future episode.